done this on a flat surface. Like, she couldn't have done this in 2D. Wouldn't have been possible. But yet, she's able to jump in and do it, and, you know, there's no learning curve. This is someone in medium, right? Like sculpting. This guy in particular, he doesn't even own a computer in his home. He's like totally analog, and yet he's able to jump in and create crazy characters in medium without having to learn anything. Go try putting this guy in front of a computer and say, yo, create this character in Maya. It'll never happen. But you can do it in medium without even having to think about it. This is mind show, right? Jumping into a character's skin and moving around, your acting, it's performance art in VR. This is a tool for understanding ourselves and our creativity at an even deeper level. If you try to make an animated film like this with no technical knowledge, it would take you weeks, even months, and it would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And yet, you're able to jump into some character's skin and animate it and create a movie without having to spend $1 and having to write a single line of code. You're authoring behavior without writing code. You're actually just behaving as a human wants to behave. And that's the power of virtual reality and augmented reality. It's making it so that we can actually interact with it in ways that we want to understand. And that's a beautiful thing. So this is an architecture with HoloLens. He's pulling out the blueprint. He's setting it on the scene. He's scaling it. It's a whole other level of interaction with his imagination, with what he wants to create. I put this here. I don't really want to try and switch back to the other slides because the videos are a little wacky. But Quill is beautiful. It's an illustration app. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to try it. You can't like explain VR, right? Like you have to kind of see it. And these are 2D versions of this stuff, so it's still not that great, but it's better than nothing. So I'll move this over. Somehow. It's very disorienting. It's like on the other side that I'm pulling it in, but it'll get there eventually. So all of this was made inside of VR with an illustration tool called Quill. And what you're able to do, it's kind of like Tilt Brush, but you can also move through time. And you can tell a story with it. And you can animate it. And it makes it incredibly powerful when you're actually able to see it in person. Here's another little quick snippet of how it's working. But you can see they're just drawing. This is on Oculus Touch, moving through space, moving all around. They'll grab an object and they can scale it up and down. They can push it forward and backwards, move it through space, right? There's no code here. There's no language to be learned. You're just grabbing it. You're just moving it. You're doing what you want to do naturally. This is really powerful. This is incredibly powerful stuff. All right. So the thing is that we have these limitless imaginations, and they're really only confined by the tools that we have to express ourselves and our imaginations with. The difference is that the tools of expression are now unlocking these additional modes of understanding. And these languages that are being built are really, really easy to learn. They're not like trying to learn even like a JavaScript or a language that we're using right now to talk to computers. It's actually, there's no learning curve. You just do it. It takes you 5 seconds to learn how to use Tilt Brush. Try to teach someone how to use Photoshop in 5 seconds. It'll never ever happen. That's a good example. Another one would be like Quill. Trying to teach someone how to create an entire animated film from scratch without giving many instructions. Well, it's impossible. You can't do it. But in VR, you actually can. And that's pretty crazy. And it's affecting so many people. So all these different types of people have these tools now. And the beauty that's going to be created out of this, it like blows my mind. I really can't get past it. It's why I'm building Magic. It's why we're focusing our business on these creative tools. It's why we're building around this workflow. But it's because the impact that this is going to have, that these tools are going to have on creativity, is going to be tremendous. It already is. And the industry is so focused and fixated on the gaming aspects, the entertainment aspects. They're not talking about it as a creation tool. They're not talking about it as a medium for creativity. And it drives me crazy because you see people like Oculus creating Quill and Medium. They're only two products that they're creating themselves as creation tools. Okay, Google purchases Tillbrush. Purchases a creation tool. Okay? Mindshow by Visionary VR. Another team started VRLA, focused entirely on film and trying to bring out story. They're building a creation tool. Why? Well, it's because they know something. They know that it's incredibly powerful. These are people authoring 3D assets, 3D scenes without having to write a single line of code. User-generated digital assets, 3D digital assets. This is so intensely complicated before VR, and now it's just like we're brushing it off as if it's just this normal thing, but it's not that normal. It's pretty badass. So we should actually talk about it a lot more. And there's many more of these tools coming. Like, we're just getting started. Like, we're like a year in. Like, do you realize like how much more powerful Photoshop is today than Microsoft Paint was? It's a lot more powerful. And it's more complicated, yes, but in VR it's actually going to get more powerful and easier. And that's pretty beautiful. So I encourage you to not just look at these tools as tools. I want you to look at them as new languages of expression and consider the fact that Tillbrush is not just a painting app, but it's another way for me to interact with my imagination. It's a new dimension for thought and creativity. And when you start thinking of it like that, it might make it a little bit more powerful for you. And this is going to just create so many more artists. Or not even create them, they're already there, but it's going to like unlock that dormant potential that's just been like squished down by society and the world around us and their lack of access to tools. It's going to lead to an insane amount of creativity. And I don't even think that we can understand what that'll look like, but it's going to be amazing. And that's what I mean when I say that immersive mediums are creating more creators. I'm sorry if this was long-winded, because this is like my whole, I need to write like a thesis on this to like fully get it out, and I can't do it in like 30 minutes, you know? But it is something that means so much to me, and I think it means a lot to others too, especially once they see it with their own eyes. But these immersive mediums are creating more creators than we've ever seen before. And when this stuff gets in the hands of average people or kids who are exploring the world like this for the first time, when their first tools are VR tools, they're going to be pretty damn smart. And they're going to be seeing the world a lot differently than we see the world. And I think it's going to be positive in both cases. And that's what we're focused on in Magic. You know, this is an exploration of creativity. This is a place for us to work on connecting these tools and creating and exploring this new creative workflow that's being born out of these tools, these languages. And we're getting pretty deep into it. And it's amazing because we get to work with people who are not technologists even, but they're just artists. You know, they're painters, they're tinkers, they're makers, they're sculptors, they're all sorts of people. And they have such amazing varieties of perspective. And so when we're able to bring that diverse crew together and build things that allow them to be more creative, we're seeing a lot of beautiful things coming into the world. And this is pretty long, but I was at the Louvre Paris with a kaleidoscope, and there was this definition parts are borrow the power from the gods, and he said everyone, from the peasant to the pharaoh, used magic, either during the temple rituals or in everyday life to ward off danger or sickness, right? But everyone, from the peasant to the pharaohs, used magic. Okay, that's where we're going to be with virtual reality. It's not going to be like only the rich have it. It's going to be everybody who has access to this, and that is going to, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell you, but I know that it's going to be bigger and more prolific than any sort of creative medium or tool that's come before it. And we're building technology and we're creating community around this stuff. One of the things we're doing is called New because it's catchy. I know it's a terrible name, but trust me, you'll remember it. And the Magic Gallery is putting together New because we don't want to be afraid of what's new. We don't want to like push away what's new, but we want to explore what's new. And we're doing that with these events, and we're bringing in artists from around the world, doing crazy projection mappings and taking VR and the creation tools and bridging that into the real world through AR and MR. And we're doing all this really interesting tinkering and experimentation around art and creation and these immersive mediums. And so definitely go to the site and request an invite. We're going to be doing it in the spring, and we're expecting it to be pretty awesome. I promise it'll be awesome. And then I'll just wrap up with this last video, and then I'll take questions. I'm sorry if I'm going a little overboard here, but let me pull this over. Now this video is just like a fun little thing that was done with a friend. And what's cool about it is that every single thing you're going to see in this was created in Tiltbrush. And what I did is I just went in and I shot video as I was going through these scenes. So I was scaling them up and down, getting different angles, and I was shooting the video, and then I just put it together over in like iMovie. It took me like half a day. But I think it's a great example of how this new form of art is even enabling newer forms of art, like me creating a music video out of scenes that I was experiencing in Tiltbrush. So there's a good song with it that's kind of important, but I don't think this works with the audio. No. Here, I'll put the mic close to this, and maybe it'll work. Oh, we have an aux. It's about to get lit.
And also, if we cannot go out to the market and then buy a affordable device ourselves, can we just plug right into Magic or similar applications to make it work ourselves?
Yeah, so if you want to talk about what we're building on the tech side of Magic, please just reach out to me directly. We're not discussing it publicly, but we'll chat. And part of that is to assist with anybody getting into the space and making that workflow much easier for them. But behind the scenes, I mean, it's complicated, sure. Like building any tool or engine is complicated, but you can also go on video or on YouTube and find a video of somebody making tilt brush in like 30 minutes, and they're building it in Unity and showing you how to do it. So there's elements to it that are of course complicated, but I think that it's actually easier than people think to build something that creates something unique. You just have to have an idea that you want to get out there. And the thing is, like right now, you do have to use Unity, you do have to use Unreal, but it's my belief that these tools, these tilt brushes and the mediums and stuff, the data streams, what they're creating, it's not so much like the JPEG of VR, but it's more equivalent to what you would consider a language, like a JavaScript or an HTML or CSS. So there's subtleties to it. It's really how you look at it, and that's why I like to ask these questions and kind of just like throw out a bunch of random thoughts, because I think the most important thing is that you don't feel confined by your existing tools, and you're willing to build something out of that can have a tremendous impact. But go on YouTube and look at some of the videos. I think you'd be surprised at how simple it is to make something like that.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your background?
Background since when? Like my whole my life story, or just like in VR?
College days?
I dropped out of college, and I did it pretty quickly. I was there for like 6 months, and I hated it so much. I felt I was like trapped in a box, and I had no freedom to like explore whatever I wanted to explore. I think a lot of that shows in like my journey through VR and entrepreneurship in general. But for me, I never felt like I had the structure or I had the system in place that was allowing me to express myself fully until VR sort of came into my life, and I was instantly blown away. And it wasn't even until, I would say, the beginning of this year that I started really questioning deeply why VR was this important. And it still took months of like self-exploration to like come to these conclusions. I'm nowhere near